Let me show you what black features look like on biracial people, okay? Starting with this guy here, Trinity.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to respond to your video. I tell you, it's a sigh of relief that educated people exist on social media. People that have visual acuity are still alive and well. So thank you. So this is what I've been trying to say to some of these knuckleheads on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Our first original ancestors, phenotype. More imagery. That's how our first ancestors looked. Very dark skin, broad facial features, as you mentioned in your video, and 4C hair. None of them had this hair texture, this skin tone, and my facial features. Those were the first original Africans. What you're seeing today in American society, for the most part, are either biracial slash multiracial people and or multi-generational mixed race people, because back in the day when mulattoes such as myself were created through RAPE, and sometimes it's consensual, people don't know about that, but there were some consensual cases, but they couldn't go public because of persecution. You can be unalived because of miscegenation law. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. But I have only 10 minutes, so I'm going to be very, very compendious in my delivery here. So the first original Africans came from West Africa, right? They weren't light skinned. They didn't have blue and green eyes. They didn't have loose textured hair. They were purely West African phenotyped people. So when the mulattoes were created, we either had children with other mulattoes, or sometimes black, sometimes white, right? Those genes didn't expire. They just get reshuffled and passed down, right? You pick up a little bit more German versus your brother or sister may have picked up a little bit more Greek than you. You see, you're only inheriting 50% of your DNA from both parents. You're not getting their full 100%. So like a lotto, even though we can have the same two parents, my genes still may be different from yours unless we're identical twins. It's because it's like a lotto. I don't know what my mother's going to pass down to me out of her 100%, just like dad. So this is why siblings look different shades, different hair textures, eye colors, because you pick up from different, pick up traits from different ancestors. But anyways, you're talking about in your video about Trinity. Now, I don't watch that show, whatever, but the father, he's mixed race too, very similar to Logic's father. I don't know the percentages. I cannot quantify that because I have not seen his DNA results. But again, we go by the original phenotype of our first ancestors. The father looks very different. He looks non-biracial myself. The father looks kind of similar to me. Now, his hair texture is not like mine. I have more European texture, more Mediterranean hair texture. And my facial feature is a little bit smaller than his. Not that I'm trying to compare us for every little detail. I wouldn't say his father's biracial, but he's definitely mixed though. He may be 30% white, 70% sub-Saharan African, but he's definitely mixed race. I don't know what percentage, but he is, right? So Trinity, as you mentioned before, is he does look biracial. He doesn't look black though. Like I'm talking about like what I just showed you. He looks mixed, but you can still see it, like you said, his nose, just his face. You can tell he's mixed with African. Not fully black, obviously, because he's very fair skin, and his hair texture, I have to look at it again, but it looks like it was in between. He has like a typical biracial combination type hair. But Logic, on the other hand, can't see one black feature on him. Not even one. His nose is very pointy. He has white skin. He has blue or green eyes or hazel. His hair texture is straight up European. Because remember, Europeans can have wavy hair too. They're not always pinned straight. My mother was 100% European. I had my ancestry DNA results. She was Serbian and German, a little bit Italian, a little bit Greek, and a touch of Middle Eastern, about 3%. But my mother had very wavy hair, big ocean waves. My hair and my brother, we take more after my mom. My dad has 4B/4C. If there's a middle one, that's where he is. He's not hardcore 4C, but he's close to it. But my brother and I obviously have my mother's hair. But Logic, his hair, now I don't know if it grows out, if it gets curly, but it still has European texture though. You can still have curly hair that's European texture. That's not African hair, obviously not. It's not even biracial hair, if you were to say. Like in the middle, his hair is straight up Caucasian. That's a white guy with some African ancestry. I don't know how much his father passed down to him. Have not seen his DNA results, but I'm sure his father, because his mother's, to my knowledge, no, we haven't seen her ancestry test, so, but to our knowledge, his mother's white. So you're right. So it's already 50% white. The father is mixed. I don't know what his percentages are, but obviously he passed down some white to Logic because Logic's not a biracial person like 50-50 like me. Halle Berry, Alicia Keys, who else? Lenny Kravitz. No. No, he's what you call a white passing quadroon. His father must have passed at least 25% or maybe more, but that's a white guy. Just like Paula Patton, you know, that was married to Robin Thicke. Hold on. Here's Paula Patton, biracial like me. That's her son with Robin Thicke, you know, the one she used to be married to. He's white. See, that's her. And look at her son. 100% white, like Logic. To me, even more Nordic because he has a blonde hair. But let me blow it up for you. That's a white kid. That's a white kid with a biracial mother. Now, I don't know his percentages. I have not, you know, seen his ancestry DNA results. But obviously, she passed a lot of white. She probably passed about 40% white out of her 50% that she gave to her son. Okay, or bestowed upon her son. Oh, euphemize it. But the point is, that's not a biracial person like her or myself 50-50. That's basically a white kid with some African ancestry. But you know how some folk are, not saying you, of course, I'm talking about some people that complain about slavery, which of course was a horrible thing. Anybody in their right mind would reject slavery. But I find it so interesting how some white and black folk hold on to that one drop rule. I find it fascinating. They'll get rid of everything else, slavery, the 3/5 of the human being, but they'll hold on to that one drop. I know, because some people are afraid that people that look like this, I'm talking about some white folk, are afraid that this person's going to marry your son or daughter, become famous or whatever, and pass some of that wealth on to their black family. Yes. But then some white folk, not saying all, get nervous when they see somebody that looks that white with a biracial mother. They start questioning their racial ancestry, because if somebody like that looks white, and there's more examples like Victoria Rao, her daughter, I'll show you in a second. Victoria Rao, biracial like me, like Paula Patton, that's her biological daughter that she had with a white man. Her daughter looks 100% white. Blonde hair, blue eyes, aquiline features, straight hair. Yes. Some white folk that have that one drop mindset are afraid if a white passing mixed race person marries into their family, let's say, I don't know, they acquire wealth, whatever it is, not that a mixed race person can't have money themselves, but anyway, sometimes people think like that. But let's say they amass wealth. The fear is some of that wealth is going to trickle down to their black family members. Not so much the white, because that's a given, right, in their mind, but they don't want to see it trickling down to their black relatives. So that's one theory. And then when it comes to African Americans that want to claim the one drop, even though they're against slavery and 3/5 of a human being, which they should be, I do believe a lot of times is envy and wanting to live vicariously through someone that approximate white and thinking the benefits that come with that phenotype is going to trickle down to them. And often that is not the case. Have a blessed day.